Can anybody see me? It says going live. I don't know if that means I am or I'm going live. Scott's got the daggum fan going in here, and it's getting kind of chilly. I might take my glasses off. It's glaring. Anyway, well, now I can't see. What's up, everybody? How are y'all doing tonight? I know it's been crazy here because of we had a big storm blow through the last minute. Oh, you can't see me? Okay, hang on now. Can you see me? Oh, you can see me. Okay. I thought Carrie said Hamm's invisible. I don't know if that means you couldn't see me. Okay, good deal. Yeah, it's we had a big storm blow through. I'm over at Scott's beer cave. We call it. Well, he calls it the man cave. I call it the beer cave. But this is all his stuff. Pretty cool place. And all this stuff on the ceiling. And sorry, I know I'm moving fast. All this stuff here. Everybody hear me okay? Scott turned his fan on. Now it's blowing like 90 mile an hour in here. So I'm a little bit chilly. He asked me if I was hot. I said, yeah, a little bit, because I've been running around like chicken with my head cut off. And put me on blast here with that fan. All right. Anyway, put my glasses on so I can see y'all, or I can see your questions. I'm going to try to be looking at my phone, too, so I can see them, because I can do it that way. So, anyway, I saw Tom had a question right off the bat. Well, here comes the beer man. Here we go. There he is. Hey, would you mind turning that fan down a notch or two? Uh-oh. I hear myself. I don't like hearing myself. All right. A little delayed. All right, there we go. Come on in here, Scotty.
Hold on.
Okay. He's running a little behind. Worse than me, I reckon. Get his chair set up. My drink. All right. So I was at the house, or I was out in my shop working on the Monte Carlo. Me and one of my friends. So I had to get finished up there. I had to wait on the rain to stop. So I was running a few minutes behind. Scott's about 5 miles from me down here. So here's the beer man. Here's Scott Travison.
Woo! Hamm and the beer man.
So Scott, me and Scott know each other from Savco back in the day. Let me turn this phone down. So he was there. What year did you start?
92.
92. He started there with the Mellow Yellow car because he had his own board game.
Yep.
Right over there called High Banks. You want to point that out?
Yeah, that's the right there. That's the cover of it. That was my sign. I used to have it. Let me grab a game right here.
He's got the actual game. So I'm gonna scroll down here and see if I can check on those questions. I got your questions, Tom. I see that about the difference in a short track engine and a 1.5 mile engines.
The wall of shame over here.
All right, y'all see Scott over there climbing up to get his game. There it is.
There's old High Banks, the Speedway trivia game.
All right, so you had that game from 92, or did you
no,
get that
actually,
before?
I created this back in around 1990, 91.
1991.
And it came out in 93. And we manufactured it and got my sponsors on the side. Mellow Yellow, Goodies, Simpson, and the old Salmon Construction Company. God love Chris and
Chris
Sam.
Politis, right?
Yeah.
What's he doing now?
That's where everybody used to hang out, all the racers. And basically,
right,
I had 4 different categories: personal, history, tracks, and technical. And I had little pawns and crew chiefs and little micro machines with a decal sheet, so you can decal your favorite driver up. So you had a little black car in there, and you put white number 3 on there, and you were good to go.
So you could you possibly come back out with that game, or did you sell it already to
No, it's
limited
you would have to
edition?
go more internet. This was pre-internet, dude. This was
Mhm.
pre-computers, really. You know, a good friend of mine, Gene Granger, long time NASCAR historian, helped me out on the personal and the history questions. And then I had a lot of NASCAR crew guys like yourself, David, that helped me out on the tracks and technical questions and stuff. But what happened was I did one run. I made 2,500 games, and it got me started my own business in racing. And I worked for Felix and Sapco doing the Mellow Yellow show car and doing whatever they need. You know the old saying, you know, move to Charlotte, you want to get a job in racing, you got to move to Charlotte and sweep the floors. But it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So you got to get your name out there. Face in the crowd, right? You know,
that's it.
NASCAR game did real well, and so what happened was I ran into a good friend, Brett Underwood, from way back in Racing for Kids magazine, and he was doing advertisement. I was selling the game in there, and then he started working for Mattel and Hot Wheels, and he said, "Hey Scott, we're looking for a bunch of trivia questions. We want to put them in our 124 scale die cast, you know, a little computer chip in the windshield, and you push the button, and the cars would go across the questions would go across the windshield of the cars. Boom! Turned into Hot Wheels. So they made a product called Fast Facts.
There we go.
And had the little computer chip there in the windshield, and you push the button on the side here, and
like a little trivia.
Yeah, trivia questions. What driver won, 200 races? You push it again. So
Richard Petty.
Yeah, Richard Petty.
I'm a quiz winner for the day.
So a lot of NASCAR fans knew the trivia questions back then. So my game kind of morphed into the Hot Wheels program.
Nice.
Sold all my stuff to them, and then basically Felix came to me and he said Mellow Yellow was leaving and Coors was coming on board, and we needed to make sure somebody knew how to take care of the Coors people.
Yeah.
And I said, dude, you got that right.
They got the right guy for the job there.
And then we took care of the Coors folks, running around doing retail activation, hanging banners, building
everywhere,
displays, set the show car up, driver appearances, making sure everybody had plenty of beer, and did hospitality, pit tours, autograph sessions.
So when I was a jackman for the Coors team, every track we went to, I always saw the pit banners out there, and we always would clap or wave. Yay, look at that. We got our banners out.
Beer man.
Thanks to Beer Man. That's right. So does that thing still work?
This thing still work? Actually,
because we ought to, if we can get it working next time or whatever.
We need to get the batteries.
Okay.
It's been since the '94, I think this came out.
We'll have to.
But I got it. We did it more than just Kyle Petty's car. This was the number 44 Hot Wheels car. We had a lot of Kyle Petty questions in here. We did also Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott, Mark Martin.
That'd be part of our trivia deal.
And oh my goodness, you know who else we did?
Who's that?
The number 12 car.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, Jeremy Mayfield. So I did 5 of those cars with all the NASCAR trivia about them, plus my trivia questions, and so it was quite the career, and lasted all the way till 2008 when Coors left the team.
How many years is that? 15 years?
Yeah, about there, somewhere around there.
15 years with that team.
And then I met the all-star jackman David Hamm, and as you can tell, David's kind of a shy feller.
The rest of history.
Yeah, I'll do my pit tours. I say, ladies and gentlemen, we have a real famous jackman David Hamm. Let's get up for David Hamm, everybody. The crowd go, woo!
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, we did.
Oh my gosh, that was the thing. We didn't win a lot of races at Savco, but we had more fun than everybody else.
Yeah, you ask anybody, they always said, man, I wish I worked at Savco because you guys had the most fun.
Yeah, we didn't win a lot of races, but we won a lot of parties.
Yeah, we won a lot of parties.
Something like that. All right, so here we go. Yeah, we'll have to get that trivia thing going so we can answer it. That'll be the trivia questions for the chat. And actually, I didn't come up with one this time. Yeah, we ask one every time we do a little chat.
No way.
And I didn't. Well, you come up with one because I didn't get to write one down. I had some suggestions that Terry sent me, and I wrote those down somewhere, but I didn't get all. I didn't get a trivia question. All I got is I got a little note here that says quiz, and then that's all I have. That's
well, I'll just tell you, the one of the world famous questions in the High Bank Speedway trivia game was, can you name the monkey that drove with one of the Flock brothers back in the day in the car? What's the monkey's name? David, do you know?
I remember that.
Oh, come on, man.
I know. I remember you asking me that.
Know, and I know that's like the world famous. I mean, everybody knows, right?
I got a limited amount
of brain space. It's like
his
most famous. It's more famous than the Winston poster with, what's her boy name?
That's already been defragmented out.
Richmond. Yeah.
Tim Richmond. Oh, Tim Richmond. The Tim Richmond.
Yeah, that's pretty famous.
You call it Xfinity, whatever. No.
Xfinity?
No, I was trying to think of a word for a digit. Anyway, that's another story.
That's another story. What's the name?
I'm sure y'all know what the Tim Richmond poster was.
That drove with the Flock brothers. I think it was Tim Flock on it.
Yeah, it was one of those. And he would he climb down in there and pull up the lever so you could look at the tires to see how the tires.
He also did something else very important when he went by him.
And he would
he taught the monkey how to do what?
He would flip off
the other driver.
Yes, see, I remember that.
Yes. He would tell the other driver he was number one in his own monkey ways.
It wasn't.
It wasn't
Clyde, was it?
He wasn't monkeying around either.
Was it Clyde?
Clyde.
Huh?
No, it wasn't Clyde. Come on. What's the monkey's name?
Everybody knows Clyde the monkey from the Every Which Way But Loose.
We were at a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and John Dotson asked that question and thought he'd stump them all.
Yeah.
Not the
and
beer
you
man.
know it.
He was sitting right in the front row.
You probably told him that.
Yeah, he probably got it from me, old John.
Yeah, or got it
Nascar Tech University.
Yeah.
Yeah, old John Dotson.
So,
I got a story about John. John made these tapes called Circuit Breakers years ago, man. Everybody had answering machine tapes.
Scott,
I give up.
Tom Robinson got a question for us. He's from Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Tom. That's a new nickname for you, Tom. Indiana
What's
Tom.
up, Tom?
Yep, Indiana buddy.
That's your guitar player, buddy, huh?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He played guitar at Hut Strickland's house.
Dude,
with the Allison cousins.
Tom's been in the Beer Man Cave.
Yes.
Yeah, he has.
He has. So he said, David, who cut your first break in NASCAR? And this is for Scott. How much beer did Coors give to you each race to pass out?
50 cases.
50 cases
50
each
cases
race.
a week. Every week. And when Sterling's bus was there, it was a minimal of 14, 15 cases. You never want to give them 13 cases because that's always bad, right? So you've got to be 14 or 15, and 12 is not going to be enough because too many times he called me and say, hey, beer man, I need more beer at the boat. So, yes, but 50 cases of beer. But when Sterling's bus didn't come, Tom, guess where that extra beer went? It went back to the Beer Man Cave. Yeah, bro. But that's way back, way back. And that was the old Beer Man Cave in Sterling's Ford when we lived all next to Michael Waltrip and them. Crazy.
So my he is crazy. And my first break in NASCAR, who gave me my first break? So my first interview, so I was working at a dealership, and the whole time I went through college, and then I was a dealership technician. I wanted to get into NASCAR. So I knew one of the guys that I worked with. He knew the Wendell brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Which Scott knows very well. Yep.
Terry and Jerry.
Terry and Jerry.
World famous.
So, so I got to know Terry really well. Went over to his house, hung out. We go to the sports page and talk a little bit. And so he got me an interview with Jeff Hammond.
No way.
Yeah, so over at the Dirt Devil 40 car near the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
There's a connection here. Yeah. Jeff Hammond helped me do the High Banks game when he was with the Dirt Devil 40 car.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Bobby Kennedy, thank you very much.
Yeah, Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah, he was over there. Okay, go ahead.
So, not hindsight, but coincidentally, Jeff Hammond's basically my neighbor now over where I live out this way. So I ran into him every once in a while, and then we actually had him on our NASCAR show on the WAME.
Hollywood.
Yep, Hollywood Hammond. But he's a lot nicer than he was back then. I mean, he seemed to always be like kind of uppity and Hollywood, that kind of stuff. But cool. I've been over to his house and everything now. He's cool now. So anyway,
everybody knows Hamm.
He was I went and interviewed with him. I sat out there for 2 hours. 2 hours in the waiting room. And Michelle Fesperman was the secretary, which I ended up knowing her later on.
Ooh, Michelle.
So
he's married to Eggleston. I saw Scott.
Is he still married to him?
Yep. I saw him.
Oh,
I saw Egg at the track. He put 3 minutes.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I think him and Hillman are over there.
So he called. That's another story. He called me in
I'm sorry, keep
2001
going.
to be the Jackman for Michael Waltrip the year he won a Daytona 500. Anyway, that was another story to go into sometime. So I went and interviewed with Jeff Hammond after waiting 2 hours. And the first thing he said to me was, "You sure are persistent." And I thought, I didn't know. Well, I didn't think it. I said it. I want to get in a NASCAR. I want to get a job in NASCAR. So what they needed was somebody to do all the wiring and stuff in the cars. Well, anyway, I ended up getting one of those consolation letters like a month later. And so I was like, all right, I'm not going to give up. So next thing you know, Terry called me up and said, hey, I got a interview for you in the machine shop at Savco. So why don't you come in, talk to Doug Hess. So I ended up going in there and talking to Doug Hess.
Excuse me, but that's
a legendary.
He can build legend. Yeah, he can build some engines. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was a legend. I know one day I was in there working and Robert Yates called and I answered the phone. And so I was like, thanks or whatever. I don't remember what I said. This is Savco. How can I help you? And he said, well, this is Robert Yates. Can I speak to Doug Hess? I was like, you certainly can, sir. Hold right on. Hold on here now.
Oh, by the way, I'm David Hamm.
Yeah, this is probably this was in 96 because that's when we moved up to Mooresville from Charlotte. All right. Anyway, I hope that answered your question. I think it probably got it pretty good.
So you started jacking which car?
So when I got in there, I was automatically like, all right, I'll start practicing. I want to be Jackman.
That's where I come back in, dude.
And then Scott comes up.
Yeah, it's the beer man, right?
Yes, beer man. So
who's just as persistent?
Just as persistent. That's it. So Scott, I think he might have seen a little something in me, and he said, well, I'm gonna help him out. We're gonna start practicing. And he was going to drive the pit car for me, the pit practice car.
On Saturdays.
And then, so I started practicing. And so what happened there was it 95? After the 95 season, I was going and doing the pit sign and doing all this stuff in 95.
Yep.
And then in 90, was it the end of 95 or at some point, Mike Ford left. Well, we had a big team meeting, and that's another story. We had our big team meeting, like our 20 people in the shop. And so Mike Ford ended up leaving. He was the Jackman at the time, so he went on to be the crew chief for Denny Hamlin. I don't know if there's anybody else, but
he went over to.
Well, he went to Robert Yates Racing.
No,
from Savco.
Yeah. And then he went over to.
He went to Robert Yates to Dale Jerry's team, and then he went. Okay,
Ray Evernham, remember?
Yeah. So we're just going way back.
Sidetrack.
So we're 22 years old.
We're trying to figure out when you have. No, keep going.
So anyway, that opened up the position for me to become a Jackman. So Ty Norris was like, okay, we'll send you to Daytona. This is in 96. We'll send you down for the Daytona 125 Gatorade races or 150s, whatever they were in. And if we have to have a pit stop, if you do okay, then we'll keep you on as the Jackman. So we ended up doing a pit stop. I did good. So from then on, I was the Jackman for that team.
Oh, that's not the story I tell. Mine's kind of the same, but not the same.
I'm trying to keep it simple.
So I'm at the shop. I interact with all the crew guys and everything. David's such a gullible guy, nice, He comes to me and he goes, Scott, my first race jacking the car is going to be the Daytona 500. And I remember a few years back, some of the Savco Mellow Yellow guys there was like the gas man, Kyle Petty was going for the win. And remember that year he got wrecked up with Bobby Hill Jr.? Was
it 93?
I think it was. Yeah. He was on the pole and we had a fast car. That was going to be Kyle Petty.
Yeah.
And he crashed out and everything. And what happened was the gas man his pants were too big and he couldn't get over the pit wall.
Yeah.
And he was sagging. And I hate to say it, that guy was looking for another job at the end of the week when he got back because
Felix.
He lost. Yeah, Felix did.
Yeah.
So when David told me that he was going to be jacking the car, his first race Daytona 500, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I want to help. I want to help the team out. So they had the little beat up pit practice car. They had a name for it. Was it a Frankenstein? I think they had
something like that.
They had a name for it. It was a whole beat up.
Oh, I thought you was doing it to help me out.
Well, yeah, and then I come and said, yes, I was helping you out.
I'm just kidding.
And the team.
Well, you did.
So I'd come over there on Saturdays and run the pit car, man. What perfect race fan job, right?
What combination.
You're working over there, and so they're like, "You want to do it on Saturdays?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Of course.
So I got good at bringing the car in and getting it in there and just getting my timing down and backing up. And get my timing down and backing up. And then David would come over there and he would get his timing down without everybody else pitting. Remember those days, David?
Oh yeah.
We spent a lot of Saturdays over there. We had some good times, man.
That was a good time.
And so, and then if I remember right, David Hamm's first One was first Daytona 500 went flawless.
Yeah.
They didn't talk about him on MRN or PRN, but performance racing.
It was
but,
good.
But yes,
fortunately, it was good. Now the races following that and my learning curve, that's another story. I did good.
You did
but
good.
In my mind, I saw every little thing that I did wrong because I wanted to be perfect.
Right.
And one of those was at Wilkesboro. I didn't cut the jack stop off, so I couldn't get the jack under the left side of the car when I came around. I was like, boom, and it just stopped. And the car was lower during the race. I mean, it was just, the tire pressures, the tire pressures usually go up. But anyway, spring settling, all that stuff. So I learned my lesson. From then on, I cut that jack stop completely off. And I put my tape there so I knew where to put the jack.
And somehow we qualified for the All-Star race, and then we were All-Star racing, and then that qualified David as All-Star Jackman.
Yeah.
Hamm, ladies and gentlemen.
So
let's give it up for David Hamm, All-Star Jackman! Woo! The crowd would go wild, and David was like, oh.
So then eventually you'd say, 3-time All-Star.
3-time All-Star, yeah. How did we ever qualify for the All-Star with those niggas? We sucked back then.
Because there was one with Kyle and 2 with Sterling.
Okay, all right. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, Sterling's the man.
Sterling's the man.
Yeah.
We go see Sterling on Thursday.
I mean, Kyle's cool. Kyle had a lot of fun, but he get a little keyed up at times, especially at Charlotte for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
He'd leave out of the pit, and then that car would be squirreling, and I'd have to jump over the wall to keep from getting my legs crushed.
Oh, yeah. I'll be right back. I got to go over here and get a cold beer.
Not to mention lug nuts getting thrown at me. Yeah. All right. So anyway, I'll go back to the questions. Let's see here. I know there's some. I'm trying to do it from my phone this time. That way I don't have to do all this and y'all have to look at me up close. All right. So it ain't working now. All right. So I'm going to have to see me up close. So back to Tom's question, I guess. And Rachel, you're welcome. Thank you for helping me with this too. This has been a lot of fun. David, what's the difference in a short track engine and a 1.5 mile engine? That is a good question. All right, so the difference is on a short track engine, you tend to have more torque, which is more twisting force. But it's harder to put it down to the track. On a big tracks, you have to have more horsepower. So the torque is how fast you can go. No, I'm sorry. The horsepower is how fast it makes the car go. The torque is how fast when you hit the wall, how much further you push the wall. That's kind of a decent way to explain it. I thought
torque was coming off the corner, bro.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I was just trying to explain it in a way that, might make a little more sense.
And Ford's famous for the torque, bro.
Yeah, torque is coming out well, and that's kind of why I said it's harder to put to the ground though, because if you notice, Ford's had a little trouble at some of the short track, like Martinsville.
Yeah,
we've kind of struggled, but that's because the tires are spinning so much. So it's up to the car teams, but it's up to the teams to put that down on the track and push that car forward. So anyway, I already answered that one. And Terry Quinn's listening. She's in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And then Rachel's down in Charlotte. All right. So, yes, Rachel, that was a lot of beer. But how many cases of beer? All right. So, if I could bring back any NASCAR tracks, which one would it be? I would bring back North Wilkesboro. Hey, Nana. Come here, Nana. Say hey. Look, we got Nana here.
You bring North Wilkesboro back?
I
gotta agree with you because it's closer to the house.
Exactly.
That's the most important part about it. It's closer to us, and the moonshine's a lot better up there.
Yeah, it's moonshine. It's got a lot of history. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that would be a good one.
It's Nana Boo.
Well, it looks like Tracy's watching too. Hey, Tracy.
Hey, Tracy. Tracy text Jana.
Tracy wasn't feeling good, so hopefully she's feeling better now.
Well, Jana she came in, but she was hiding.
She was hiding.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. All right, so let's see what we got next, question-wise.
The Hamm and the Beer Man. Here you go. Yep. What's up, Tom? You still there?
Where's Tom at? I don't see him anywhere. So anybody else that wants to ask questions, you got to log in. And while you're logged in, you might as well hit the subscribe and turn on the bell notification That way, as soon as I go live, you'll be able to see what's up. It'll make your phone go ding, and you'll be able to see. And you just click on that notification and it'll take you right to it. Just like this, mine says an error occurred though, so I was gonna try to answer questions from here. All right, so since nobody said anything again, so
Anybody answer our trivia question?
oh yeah, the trivia question. So Terry's usually pretty good about these trivia questions. I gotta put my smart
Terry
glasses
Quinn?
on. Yeah, Terry Quinn.
Terry Quinn, and from Oklahoma?
Oh, look, Jocko.
Jocko Flacco. Who did it?
As soon as she said it, I was like,
it's Jocko Flacco.
Yeah.
Flacco. That's Flacco. But yes.
As soon as I saw her answer, I was like, oh yeah, I remember now.
Mr. You're a pretty big NASCAR fan, aren't you?
She's huge NASCAR fan.
Is she from around here or
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma? She's been here. How many times you been to Charlotte area, Terry? She's been a bunch of times.
Have you ever been on one of the old beer man's pit tours or a shop tour at the race shop? I mean, I did all that stuff. You know? I don't know.
Yeah, she's probably typing right now. So ask Scott if they had any friendly wars with other beer companies at the track. Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, I used to,
Budweiser.
When I first started, we went to Dover. It wasn't in the first season.
Yeah.
And Kyle, see, I'll get there on Monday working with the distributor, and basically hang the banners. And Dover was one of them. Half of them you can hang banners outside, half of them you didn't. When you're hanging the banners outside, Budweiser wins. Budweiser's number one, and you can see them red 20-foot Budweiser banners from a mile away. Mm-hmm. And if you could see one, hell, they would put 4 or 5 of them up there, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, and then you know, and we respected people. This was '95. This was still early. This was the year that we won back in Dover, and it was the Budweiser 500, and Miller just took it over, so it was the Miller 500, and Miller, a lot of the markets, the Miller distributors sold to Coors, and that was one of them, so you had to be nice to the Miller people. But yeah, we respected it. They had cherry pickers and gas stations and hotels and the sides of the grocery stores and, you know, everywhere. And so we respected everybody, and the Bud guy knew where we were staying. What you did is you respected everybody's hotel, their own little home ground, right? The bar and the outsider. But the Bud guy knew that's where we were staying because him and I were battling back and forth. It was like we were just at one account after another. He was getting there and everything, and they all would say, "Dude, I don't know who you are, where you're from, man, but this is Budweiser's town, man." And I said, "Dude, I'm the beer man. I'm from the race team. I'm not with the distributor or the Coors people. I'm just here with the team trying to help out."
Yeah, what you talking about?
And hold on, the story.
That's right.
My point is, the war was they tattooed our hotel, bro, and we had Armando. Armando was coming in, and I couldn't have Armando. Armando couldn't have Armando. See all them guys, see all them red 20-foot banners over our roof, right? So what the beer man does is he gets his ass up on the ladder and he starts tearing the Budweiser shit down, right? And next thing I know, it was on. They're taking our stuff down, and then it got to be a war, you know. And then Kyle Petty comes in and he goes, "So beer man, how's it going?" I was like, "Dude, it's a war out there, man. It was like a war.
It's a war zone.
So you have to respect. Don't take anybody's stuff down. You know, they don't do that stuff anymore." Mm-hmm. But man, we had some good times, man. But what happened was since I'd come in there, you know, once or twice a year, and you know, I knew the managers of all the key grocery stores and the convenience stores and the good bars and restaurants, and most of the year, Budweiser would have free reign on it, shit all year long. But when it was NASCAR time, the beer man came to town. They would say, "Yeah, beer man, how you doing? All right, man. Take all that Budweiser stuff down." I said, "Well, I'm not taking it down unless you tell me to." Yeah. It's NASCAR. You got some NASCAR stuff, and you know, Kyle Petty and Sterling stuff, you know. And it was a lot of fun, man. I would never pass it up for the world. And plus, I got to hang out with legendary All-Star Jackman David Hamm along the way. And
so we had some good time. All right, so here's some of the. I'll just show you right quick while we're at it. We got some pictures up here. Up on the
he wants
ceiling.
To show you his pictures. That's what he wants to show you.
I ain't said nothing about that.
Yeah, I'm telling
you
about it.
No, look at them though. These are really cool. Oh, there's a light right there.
So there's David. That was the 125s.
Yeah.
Yeah, you jacked that. You jacked that car, right?
That's right.
Yeah, you're a Daytona 125 champion. Got Elvis over here.
Got Elvis.
Yeah, got to have the Elvis.
Elvis.
Yes.
And I'd like to have that right there. You want to give that up, right?
Yeah, this was my Florida wall starter, but I got Harry Carey, who's a legend.
Oh, yeah, Harry Carey. Holy cow.
Kyle Petty's first win when we were at Dover, the one I was just telling you about
95.
that weekend. Yep, and old Kyle Petty.
Yeah.
And we got some good stuff in here.
He's a Cubs fan, too, in case y'all hadn't noticed.
Cubs fan.
But yeah, there's the rest of I call it the beer cave.
The Bell South hood. Yeah, we got my NASCAR shirts, and a lot of these are all Victory Lane stuff with pouring beer on Sterling's head. This was always my favorite, man. This was in Charlotte. You know how hard it is to win at Charlotte, and you have an opportunity to pour beer on Sterling's head. Hold on, let me get the light right. Like, move it down a little bit.
That's a great. Oh, down.
There you go. And so there's a beer man and me, and look at Sterling holding that Charlotte trophy. That was some stuff, man, right there.
Mm-hmm.
We was hanging out with Johnny Hodge in turn one all day long, man. Nice. And that thing was fast. Remember that car?
Yeah, that was
some good times.
That was after I left.
Yeah.
That was good
stuff.
you're
that okay.
Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't have much choice because
you were there in spirit and soul. I can say that much.
Well, I helped build that foundation. How's that sound? But when Chip Ganassi came in and he said, if you guys build engines, if y'all want to keep building engines, you got to go somewhere else. Or if you want to stay here, I'll find a place for you working in the car shop. So
there you go.
I got an offer to go with another engine company, and that's where I went.
Bob's your uncle.
And then
your jacking days were over.
Then I went on to Bill Davis for a couple of years, and
your jacking days were over.
And I've been down at Roush Yates for 15 years, so that was a good. Yeah, jacking days were over. I was pretty much done anyway. All right, so we had another question. Many fans are unhappy. Rachel Robin, down in Charlotte, said many fans are unhappy about the race cars, not like the cars you buy from the dealership. What can NASCAR do about this? Well, since they built that car tomorrow, I mean, they could. What do you think, Scott?
What's that? What's the question?
What can they do to make the cars more like the regular street cars?
I have a great idea. Oh, beautiful sunset out there. Yeah, go on.
Do them back to the way they used to be.
My idea is what they need to do is Ford, Chevy, and Toyota. I'm sorry, Rachel, but listen to me. This is going to make sense. Need to bring some regular street cars, and the next time it rains at the racetrack, they put those drivers in a Ford, Chevy, and the Toyotas, right? And let them go out there and race in the street cars during the rain. And then everybody wins, right? Race fans win. We win. That's good.
Rachel said, no Toyotas.
No, all right. Well, the Chevys and the Fords are out there, and the Fords will still win, I guess.
Yeah.
No, it's too hard. It's beyond. That's not. It's yeah. You know, the last thing I would have to say to you, Ms. Rachel, is the last time a stock car was more like your regular street car was when Dick Trickle drove, and he would have his cigarette lighter mounted in the car while he was driving. And but you know what? They don't even have cigarette lighters in cars nowadays. So so they are more like regular cars now.
Yeah,
that answers your question, Miss Rachel. They actually are, because neither one of them have cigarette lighters.
No, neither one of them has cigarette lighters. Yes,
I know.
And they're kind of like Canadian cars because they don't have air conditioners.
Hey.
Speaking of air conditioners, can you turn that down?
Okay. You all right? Okay.
It's a little bit chilly. Well, I don't know. It's all right. Or back it up if you don't mind. Back it up.
Well, I can only go so far.
It might be a little bit noisy.
You drinking your beer?
Yeah, sure. So Terry Quinn says no Toyos or no Chevys. We'll just have an all Ford race. How about that? That sounds like a good time, don't it? All Fords. That's a great idea. And then we'll get at Roush Yates Engines, we'll have 42 customers. Could you imagine that? Or however many. All right, there we go. Back to the chat. Rachel said, I know the NASCAR is working hard on the appearances, but we are all grateful for keeping the driver safe. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the car tomorrow, they moved the seat over, because we had one episode where, only one I can think of, where the driver's helmet hit the wall.
Ironhead.
And that was, Okay, then there's two.
Yeah.
But one of them was fatal.
Oh,
yeah. John.
Yes, John.
Nemechek.
There's been a couple of
Homestead. So yeah. Scott, can you help David find a Ford of his own to drive?
Yeah, tell me about it. You want? Have you been to his shop yet? He's working on a friggin' '86 Monte Carlo, like my old girlfriend used to drive. I said, dude, when are you going to get this thing fixed so I can come over and hang out again?
All these Chevrolets got to have work on them, you know.
It brings back so many memories. I had a badass '86 Ford Thunderbird, Bill Elliott style. And she drove this '86 Monte Carlo. She was an Earnhardt fan. I was an Elliott fan, and I thought it was good.
Hold on, I think Janice is watching too.
That's okay.
I'm just kidding. So anyway, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time
ago.
Hat,
though.
Yeah, you hitting on me?
Sweet. I got a jacket like that. Yeah.
You hitting on me?
Yeah, big guy.
Oh, okay, he's hitting on me. Sorry, Tracy.
Tracy, you're SOL. So anyway, Rachel said, "What was the training like for a jackman?" Well, okay, so here's what I did, and I was the
he
only.
Had me. He had me. Did you hear it?
Here's what I did.
Me.
I just had the best trainer in the business right here.
It wasn't for the beer man on Saturday afternoons, Rachel.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was going to do, man. I'm just telling you. He had
me.
And what else? What it was? Leg lifts.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Wait,
here's what
12,
I did.
12-ounce curls.
I did.
12-ounce curls.
I didn't drink during the week at all back then. But what I would do
was
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Yeah, he's still there. He just asked a question. Or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, I was up in the gym every day. And then we would have pit practice. But I would be like, where's the rest of the crew? It was just me up there by myself. And Blaze Alexander would come and work out too. Kyle Petty would come in. He would come in once or twice a week, but he did more talking than he did lifting. So, which is fine. He was entertaining, and I got to hear all of his old stories about his dad and such. But the gym was actually, we had a really nice gym the first year I started at Sabco down in Charlotte. It was right inside a machine shop where I was working, so I could just go right over there and work out all I wanted to. And then when we moved up to Mooresville, it was upstairs down in the fab shop, but I would still go and do it 4 days a week.
I remember them.
I was in a lot better shape too. I was really strong. I benched 300 pounds.
What?
Yes. So yeah, I mean, I was somewhat of a beast, not like Jeff Clark type beast, but I was in my own right. I was pretty good. And Felix Sabatis himself, said that he would put me up against anybody on pit road.
Yeah.
So that was. Well,
hey, we got Picture Felix in here over there.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's right over here. It's one of them early ones.
So Rachel, to answer your question, I think we had
the Pete car.
We
Rachel.
had
the Pete car.
we had an hour and a half for lunch.
Yeah.
So I would use that, But she said yes, beer man training.
Beer man training.
Have you ever met Rachel?
No, I don't think so.
She's the one. She works at the or helps out at the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Cool.
So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Connection down there when you.
Oh, Jana knows. Jana knows.
Yeah, I was trying to remember his
big guy. What's his name? Winston. Yeah, Winston's down there.
Oh, is he? Oh yeah, I saw Winston. Yeah. I saw Winston at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Yeah. Winston Kelly. Sure did.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So we all got favorite hats.
He used to work for Duke Power back in the day. Anyway,
this is one of my favorite hats. Everybody's got a favorite hat. Look at this old classic Sterling Marlin hat, but
I got one of those.
More than autographed. I never was an autograph
of it.
But see, it's got
Tom, I'll answer your question.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on, Tom.
Yeah, that's a great hat.
It's got Sterling's autograph.
My son done got a hold of mine, dude.
And it's got Pete Coors' autograph. But this one here is a very special. This was from Shigeto Manabe. Shigeto was this really cool dude that hooked up with our team when they were in Japan.
Yeah.
And then Shigeto came over to the United States, would hang out with the track. And I ran into Shigeto at the souvenir trailer one time. And he was like, look at the souvenir trailer. And I said, dude, you're from Japan? And the guys at the race team, Mike Modal, came to me and he said, Beer Man, you're not going to believe it. He got a postcard from Shigeto after they came over and said, hey, my name's Shigeto. Me speak no English. We see you Daytona 500 next year. This was after the Japan race.
Yeah.
And so I go over there and there's Shigeto looking up at the souvenir stand. And I took Shigeto under my arm. I had a pagers back then. That's how long it was. I gave him my pager number and I looked at him. I said, you from Japan, right? And he goes, yeah, yeah. And I said, you Sabco, Team Sabco postcard? He goes, yeah, yeah. So I gave him the pager number, and he called the next day, and I took him into the track, and he took under Mike Model, and Mike Model took him in, and he was like with the guys at the crew, and all day long cleaning the car, wiping it. I was just a beer man, hospitality guy.
Yeah.
So I would just leave him with them during the race, and then Sundays with hospitality. But Shigeto Manabe.
That's cool.
And from what I understand, hold on, here we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got to hold it up there.
Right up there.
It's yeah.
Shigeto still stays in touch with Mike Model over there with that Front Row Motorsports, and every now and then I'll see Mike, and he goes, "Beer man, I heard from Shigeto." But
that's cool.
I ain't seen Shigeto.
I went to Japan twice. I went in 96 and 98.
I got a picture of Shigeto too.
With the Coors team. I went both times. So there is a video on here on my YouTube of when I went to Japan. I took my little camera. Actually, it was a small camera. It's an 8mm, and I put that video on my YouTube channel. So go check it out when you get a chance. It's my it should be right near the top of my videos. I put it on several years ago, but it's got a lot of attention on it. It's a really cool video. It goes through the whole time from the time we got on the airplane in Atlanta to the time we got to Tokyo, and we went walking around the streets of Nagoya. We went to the Suzuka Circuit. Was that first year when I went in '96 with Robbie Gordon. We had Wally Dallenbach hanging out with us, and Armando, Dave Sharpen's here.
Sharpie.
Greg Campbell. I'm trying to remember the guy that I roomed with. He works over at Penske now. He's one of their crew chiefs. But anyway, yeah, those guys were. We all went to Japan. We had a big time. It was different. The food was not too good. I thought we were getting donuts on the airplane, and it was like a chunk of square patty. I thought it was a donut. I'm like, finally, I'm gonna get something good, and it was a rice cake, and it had like pink fish eggs in the middle.
How many geisha girls did you see?
I saw a few.
Yeah,
but most of it wasn't like you think. Anyway, most of saw.
Nana, sit down. Nana, sit down.
It surprised me a lot of the people actually spoke English over there, but the older people didn't. But the younger people did. And I would go into a store looking for something Japanese to buy, and I kept seeing all this American stuff. So it's like they liked American products, American jeans, and everything else. They would have all that stuff over there. But I did buy a samurai sword.
And there was one Sterling Marlin fan named Shigeto Manabe. Shigeto!
Yep. And I took on my video, you'll see a Japanese Richard Petty too. But
Shigeto.
I had bought a samurai sword, and I tried to get it back on the airplane. So I had it in the cardboard box, and I put it on the conveyor belt. And then they all started freaking out. And I'm like, what is it? What's going on? Because I was trying to carry on my samurai sword. Sue me. This is before 9/11. Things were a lot easier going back then. And so I guess if I had to go all the way back and check my samurai sword in on the check-in luggage. And then I didn't have any more money, any more yen with me. So whenever I had to go back and pay my tax or whatever it was, I had no I had no money to get my little tag to get back through the gate. And nobody around me spoke English. Nobody was going to give me any money. Fortunately, big country, little country.
Big country, yeah, little country.
Bill Miller and Randy Usher.
Randy Usher.
They come walking up, and they gave me my 1,000 yen, which is the same as $10. They put it in, got my little tag, and they saved my life because I was ready to go home so bad I couldn't stand it. Oh man, where'd you get that hat? That's a nice hat.
You hitting on me?
Yeah, man. I'm a sucker for cowboy hats.
This is a hat I got when I was in Texas many years ago and hanging out with Marty Forcier. If y'all know Marty Forcier, love you, Marty.
Yeah,
he's a rocker.
Where's he at?
He's like a bouncer.
Oh, he is
a bouncer at Micah's in Mooresville.
Oh, is that okay? He's always trying to get me to come to these outrageous.
Yeah, but it's too late. We're too old to stay up past 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
I need to start sending.
But anyways, let me finish the story about Marty's a good dude, man. So Marty, we were out there when they first opened up Texas, man, that was what a nightmare that was, man. We left at like 5 in the morning to get to the track. No, we left at 4 in the morning, and we were in Fort Worth to get to Dallas to the track, and we were still late. We had to be there by 6, and we were still late. But I bought this hat in Texas first year, and old Marty called me Texas Slim. They're on out. That's the truth. Love you, Marty. You know, I can get my guitar. I can start picking too.
We should send Marty a message and tell him to tune in. You know?
Yeah, Marty.
Hey, where's he at?
Well, you know, this is this. Okay, look at. I'm getting ready to break the news.
News flash.
News flash. Y'all gonna hear it first. I'm going to let my wife in on a secret.
There we go. Wifey's secret.
So it's just between me and you, right?
Yeah, that's it. Nobody else. These people won't say anything.
We're going to figure out somehow, some way, and when we're going to have an old Coors Light Sterling Marlin reunion. And we might even rope in the Kyle Petty Coors Light, too. Kyle talked to me and said he wanted to have a reunion.
Yeah.
And so did Sterling last week. So we got to figure something out. You know, and you can't do half and half, right? I mean, so many people love Kyle. So many people love Sterling.
Yeah.
We got to do it,
dude.
Just
do it together.
We're going to have it here.
Kyle and Sterling get along
Beer Man,
good, I think.
The Beer Man cave, because
they need to come here.
Yeah, to come. Well, that's what I'm talking about, dude.
I was thinking about texting Kyle and
telling Tracy, do not tell
or Morgan at least.
Don't tell Jana yet.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Right here.
Right here. So you 9 people, it says 9 right there.
Yeah.
9, that number 9 right there. Okay.
Yes.
Y'all, you 9 people are the first ones that know. Just keep it quiet. Shh. But we're gonna have it, and hopefully y'all will come. And if you come, you're invited. If you're on, no, we got 10. We're back on to 9. Who clicked on somebody? Somebody was stalking us.
I started to.
That was probably Marty.
That
was probably Marty. Damn it.
I started to text either Kyle or Morgan and tell them to tune in. But
dude, I didn't call any of my friends to do this. I had no idea. Man, I don't know.
All right,
next time.
Then
we got to talk about the stories all again.
Yeah, we got.
Wait, no, I got a question. Whoever's still listening.
Got different questions every time.
We're up to 10. Somebody must be listening. So who's the biggest disappointment that hasn't won yet this year? I mean, that's like the big talk on serious.
I know the answer.
No. It's a pretty. Who is the biggest? We got 9 people. We should have 9 opinions. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is it somebody like Keselowski?
Well,
is it right? Is it right? Yeah. Is it somebody like Denny Hamlin? I mean, those two are boom boom. Ford and Toyota. Don't give me that crap, man. They got all the same stuff. Everybody,
come on.
What's going on there, right?
Yeah, I was going to say Keselowski's would be my
Jimmy Johnson, but Jimmy Johnson, they run like dog.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good
dog
one.
Right now. You know,
that's true. Yeah.
So
Jimmy Johnson. Well,
Eric Almirola. Yeah, I hear you, Terry. That's exactly right.
Well, if Eric Almirola,
Keselowski, I know.
And I was talking to.
I thought Kes was going to do good.
Well, I ain't. All right,
he spun out on his own at Bristol the other night.
We were.
Who else we got there? Blaney, yes, Blaney. He was on a roll, man. Blaney.
Well, Stenhouse is in the. He's kind of in the.
No.
I mean, I'm not saying he should have won by now.
Everybody gave Stenhouse all this credit to do something last week,
but
and he didn't show. What did he do?
Did
he pit the first early? I never saw Stenhouse.
So I mean,
I was at your house.
Kurt Busch is pretty much locked in, and but we need to get another Ford. So the more Fords we got locked in, the better we're going to be. Obviously,
first on race day, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
first on race day. Right?
That's it.
Or the old one was,
you got it.
Forget old Rusty and Dale. That was my clean one. Forget old Rusty. Man, I old school Rusty and Dale, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, dude,
I forgot about
that. I've been a Ford fan
since
I was a little kid. Yeah. My first race was 1974 Daytona 500.
Gosh.
I bleed Ford blue in this arm. I bleed Cubby blue in this arm, you know. Okay, yeah. You think I'm a NASCAR fan?
My first,
no. Ford blue, Cubby blue.
I remember my first race, but it was in 70 something, and it was at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I remember Richard Petty was racing, but Cale Yarborough wasn't, or David Pearson. I can't because those were my drivers back then. I wasn't a Richard Petty fan, believe it or not.
Davey fan. I hear you,
But
Terry.
Terry's she's a huge Davey Allison fan.
I got
sure.
Davey Allison's story for you. I got an autograph in here somewhere. I met Davey Allison years ago.
So I never got to meet him.
Oh, really?
I wish I did.
Hold on. I got something really good for you. Hold on, Terry.
Yeah. I wish I got to talk to meet him, but I never did. He's after something. Scott's got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff, but it's in my attic. So maybe one of these days I'll get my stuff down from my attic. But I've still got all my fire suits, all these shirts Scott's got hanging up. I got the First Union. I've got the Bell South. I've got the Coors Light. What else have you got over here? That Coors Light right here from 96. I've got that. I've got that one from 99. I've got that one from 95. That Bell South one from, what was that, 90?
Yeah, you got a whole bunch of them.
I think.
All right, I'm back.
But yes, a bunch of good stuff.
Remember this car, Terry? Yeah, there you go, Davey Allison. That was so cool. Two Scott Davey Allison, the man.
Sweet. That is cool.
And I had my 86. I had my 86 Ford Thunderbird. I took it and drove it down to Talladega. And this was probably, I think, 1988. First time in Talladega, I had a little pop-up camper, and he was signing autographs down at the Talladega auto parts store. And I drove up there, and I said, dude, how's it going? I said, at the time I wasn't the beer man, I was only Scott then. I said, you look over there. I said, that's my old. I love Busch beer. I said, that's my old Busch Ford Thunderbird over there, bro. And he signed it, and he smiled, he laughed. That's pretty cool. But Terry, that's for you. That's one of my show and tell items right there. Davey Allison. I prize with just that. Yes.
You were a Busch Beer fan because that was the sponsor.
That's right.
Series.
Right, dude. We were 16 years old at the Daytona International Speedway, and they were selling us beer for $1 under the grandstand.
I swear, back then it seemed like you would go and you would anything that was a sponsor in NASCAR. That's what you bought. You bought Tide detergent.
Back to Tom's question. Busch if he's still there. It took me many years before I surpassed the Coors Light or the Busch beer, the Coors Light, but now Busch is way down here. But we do have a little bit of Busch beer nicking around here. So because we are Kevin Harvick fans right now, and we love Joe Glenn. If you ever know Joe Glenn, he works with Budweiser, or there's actually a company called Sponsor Services. Been around forever. He was the beer man for Budweiser people. You talk about the other one we're talking about, dude. I got more Joe Glenn stories, dude. I used to get to the track early at like Las Vegas when they first opened up, and Budweiser, big sponsor there, right? And I hung big old Coors Light welcome race fan banners going in the tunnel like at 4:30 in the morning before all the big Budweiser people were coming there, dude. And that got them so fired up, man. I remember I drove around with my golf cart, probably was around 7 o'clock later that morning. And there's Joe Glenn up there on the top with his razor blade cutting my stuff down. Damn bear man! Oh, you talk about fun, man. That was what it's all about. I love Joe Glenn. And you know what? Joe's a guitar picker from Martin Guitars and stuff. And I got to go down and see Joe.
Who is it that's got a Martin guitar recently?
Me?
Was that you?
I got the guitar right over here.
No, it was something. All right, that's another story. We had somebody in the studio that had Martin. All right, so Tom says, I hate anyone who's not driving a Ford or have RYA enter the hood come race day. Representing Tom and Davey Allison is our all-time favorite, said Tom. And then Paul Rodriguez. You don't know Paul Rodriguez, do you? Paul, you're from Florida, I believe, right? I'm pretty sure that's right. And he says Davey was a great guy. Kit got a few of his autographs. That's cool. I don't think I ever got. I've never met him, so I didn't get his autograph. But I do have some postcards. Yeah, Florida. Paul said he's in Florida. Did Paul Rodriguez said, do you guys know Mark Bennett from Budweiser? You didn't answer that, did you?
Mark Bennett.
Mark Bennett.
What town was he from?
Yeah, what town was he from? Florida. Paul. Here, I got two more right here. All right, so Tom, answer your question. Yeah, I guess I am. I've had one of those better not crafts
Yeah.
Virginia. He says Virginia.
Virginia. Bennett. I'm not sure. My guys I worked with were in Danville,
Mark Bennett
Virginia.
from Budweiser.
Yeah. Virginia was tough because they had some very strict laws, especially in Martinsville. The only place you get to go drinking was the Tin Pen, and everybody hung out there. And then all the Food Lions and stuff that you run around there and everything. But I think I may have learned. That sounds familiar. But Martinsville being close, it's a very small market, and we used to call Martinsville Market. Well, they would call it a Martinsville Market, Martinsville, Virginia. Let's go to Martinsville, Virginia.
My Ward Button.
My Ward Button. Car's got a little push in the corner. We all gonna take the boys up to Hardee's and get some couple Chase burgers later on.
I always like the cat skid steer commercial, things that John Moore and Billy would do. That was some funny stuff. So Rachel said, ever since Jeff Gordon retired, we have had a lot of drivers leave, with the latest being Casey Kane. Why do you think this is?
Well, it's just the changing of the guard right now. I mean, I love Jeff Gordon. I got a great Jeff Gordon story, but to answer your question, it's just the changing of the guard, the economy. This sport is driven on sponsors. You getting cold again?
Yeah, man.
Look, well, you getting cold? Look at that. It's getting cold, everybody.
My nipples is poking.
Let me finish my question. Answer the question. Well, I'll turn the heat on for you, David.
No, I don't need no heat.
Nana, get in your lap.
All right, come here, Nana.
But I think by looking at it, Miss Rachel, the sponsors are dwindling. There's less money coming in. These old guys have been around, and they have been collecting a lot of money for a lot of years, right? And so the new, if you want to put a benchmark, you just try to put your feelers out and find out what Kyle Larson is being paid compared to, pick one, Jimmy Johnson. Pick another one. It's been around here. Denny Hamlin. Okay, the salary difference between Denny Hamlin up here and Kyle Larson down here. So all these old guys, they're just saying, you know what? All my other buddies are pulling the plug. We're gonna go. The lake is a lot nicer on the weekends. We can go do this. We can chill out. And they're finding out from all the rest of their friends that it's pretty cool. I understand. I hear you. I remember when I was knee deep into the whole Coors Nascar back in the mid-'90s, and one of my guys would stop and get off the road. I'd be like, dude, what are you doing, man? We're going to Michigan. And he's like, Bearman. You know what it was? It was Nate. Nate Kinnon. Nate said, Bearman, you know how nice Lake Norman is on the weekends instead of the infield of Michigan. So once you get the taste of getting off the road, it is so hard to go back on the road. So it's a change. If you remember right, and I don't know how many fans remember how long y'all been fans. I know some long ones, but remember that year when Bobby Labonte, Kenny Wallace, and Jeff Gordon all came in. We had no idea. Jeff Gordon comes from the Baby Ruth car, Bill Davis racing.
Number one.
He was wrecking all the time, kind of like Jimmy Johnson was. They wrecked all the time, but they never really got was the new group there, and so you had some. So it's just the time of the
change.
Yeah, it's reciprocal, and we just hope that the youngers, and they will embrace it. I mean, John Hunter Nemechek run the pants off those guys on Thursday night, but he ran out of gas. We were there. We were ready. I was ready to get some beer and pour beer on old John Hunter. Yeah, he's 21 now, right? I had it already. I think, dude, I'm gonna soak him, man. Just one for JH. Yeah, but I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it. Just didn't work.
But it's gonna come again. We're gonna get there. We love John Hunter Nemechek and Joe and Andrea and Mama and Papa and George and Marty. But it's just a change. Find your new fan, find your new driver, and just stick behind him. Like John Hunter.
Probably Chase Elliott would be another one.
Chase Elliott
in the Cup Series.
Yeah,
John Hunter will be there eventually, but
you just got to find your new one. Yeah. Don't listen, and this is another. Don't listen to all these freaking people that are like, oh, NASCAR's dead, blah blah. The stands weren't full. I see you again. Look. If you're a race fan, you're still gonna go to the races. You're still gonna watch it. If you're a race fan. Excuse me, but you will watch two
popsicle sticks running down the side of a gutter. Who's going to finish first? So don't tell me about the stands not being full.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
What are you going to watch? Tennis?
Bowman Gray.
Huh? Bowman Gray, the Madhouse.
Yeah,
my boy took me to Bowman Gray.
That's right.
All right, place was packed, right?
Yeah, it was.
$10 to get in. All kinds of people there, families. There were no fights and all that.
Well, apparently we missed the cop pulling a gun on somebody
but that's,
brandishing a
But that's
firearm.
usually in the beer section, and we don't drink beer.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't have any.
But anyways, that's how you do it. $10 racing all night and some good racing.
Yeah,
watching them guys get that thing right in the corner. You know, it's awesome. Yeah. Go to Bowman Gray if you ever get a chance. I think that was the last race last week or something.
Yeah, I think so.
But Chocolate Myers talks about it all the time on the radio.
It's a little track.
It's quarter mile. It's a lot of fun.
I got a video. I think I got a video on here. I don't know. If I don't now, I'm going to have a video.
The best tip I can give you is they don't sell Coors Light in Bowman Gray. So you go by and talk to the ticket guy and say, "How you doing, man? I got to go, blah, blah, blah." He gives you a little pass out and you go back and you keep selling the Coors Light. And then you come back in, right? So it's cool, right? So it's not so bad.
Well, otherwise, they could have a part of the stands.
Well, no, but
you know what I'm saying?
Budweiser, once again, they have to ruin it for everybody.
They have Bud Light.
It's all Budweiser.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yep. No craft beer anyway.
So. Bush.
All right. So
this part of the program is brought to you by Bush. Bush. This hat is my
classic hat.
This actually is my wife's hat.
I got a classic hat on.
This was a Scott Wimmer Victory Lane hat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on. What year is this?
2002.
Okay, I was building engines for Scott Wimmer in 2002.
This was a Victory Lane hat. Bill Davis.
He would Scott Wimmer.
Another connection.
He gave me $100 for Christmas.
Another connection. Me and my buddy, old Hamm, Bone, and Beer Man. Come on.
Yeah, because you know who else Scott Wimmer knew, and he was asking me, did I know Joe Hornick? Scott Wimmer.
Oh, there you go.
He did engines for him.
There it is.
So anyway, yeah, so and then Scott got in trouble, and he was pretty decent driver and all, but he got in trouble.
Yep, Terry Quinn knows Scott Wimmer. Yeah, he's another one.
So I was building for him. I was building for Jamie McMurray when he was driving the Bruco.
Look, they come and they go. Okay, they come and they go. That's the thing. And there was a stat put out. The 2015 Daytona 500, half of that starting lineup isn't even around anymore, and that's only been 3 years back. So we've lost half of our drivers in the last 3 years. So it's just that time.
Out with the old and with the new.
It's just that time, It'll be all right. Things will come back around. New sponsors will come around. They're all going to figure out how to get the millennials with their little, they want to be connected. They kind of want to be like Hamm. When you go to the event, you want to take pictures and you want everybody to know that, hey, I'm having a great time.
You want to be able to do Facebook Lives from Bowman Gray Stadium.
Oh, there we go.
Like I was doing.
The Madhouse.
Yeah. So, hey, but I was showing people how the track is. I was promoting the track.
That's right.
A lot of people were chiming in.
That's right.
In the comments and stuff.
That's right.
So Terry Quinn said, is Martha Nemechek still living? Yes, he is. She is. Scott saw her last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just last week. She's alive and well, doing good.
She told me they were going to fire the gas guy.
Oh, they're going to fire the gas guy. Yeah. So let's see. I bought on that. Terry said I bought an old NASCAR program at the flea market and was floored when I found Davey Allison had signed it inside. What a find!
Wow.
God.
What'd you do?
Where was that, Terry? I mean, that's a big deal right there. I'm sure that person didn't realize that he had signed it inside. So Tom Robinson, do you think Kurt Busch is out?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And do you think Martin Truex is in the 41 car? All just BS from? I've not heard that one. I'll tell you, the first time I met Martin Truex was when I was working at Bill Davis in 2001 or 2. It was one of those. No, it was 2002 or 3. And Martin Truex come through the shop, and he was wanting to get into the Busch Series. And so I said, "Are you going to be one of our new drivers?" And he said, "I hope so." So we just kind of shot the breeze a little bit about what I was doing there, honing a block and boring a block and this kind of stuff. So anyway, that was my only experience around Martin Truex. But that's a good rumor. I have not heard that one, but I think he would be a good one. He would be a good replacement. Obviously, he wins races.
How about me throw this out there? What's going on with the one car? Right, I think McMurray's going to be out.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to put Kurt Busch in the one car, or is McMurray out? And are they going to put our boy John Hunter in the one car, David? Come on, John Hunter!
Is he ready to jump from the trucks to the? Well,
he's doing Xfinity.
That's right.
He needs to get a win in that Xfinity car.
Yeah, that's true.
And boom zoom.
Yeah.
See you, McMurray from Joplin, Missouri.
That'd be all right.
Out the door. Gotta go.
So I think the best thing to do is to go ahead and put them in a Cup car, because Stenhouse was telling me one time. I asked him what the difference was between the Cup cars and the Xfinity cars, and he was telling me the biggest difference was the gear ratios. They're because they had a rear end gear rule. So basically, when you mash the gas, how much it was spinning the tires, and versus how much it wasn't spinning tires. So that was the biggest thing that he had to adjust to from running in the Busch series, Xfinity series, and because he won 2 championships for us. But then he come into the Cup Series and he wasn't running as good. So he said, you basically on the Cup Series you had to let off, and in the Busch Series you didn't have to let off. So I think the sooner you go ahead and get that young driver into a Cup Series car and give him some seat time, just like let's say Jeff Gordon, like we were talking about earlier. Of course, that was in a Busch Series car, but he would wreck a lot, and he wrecked a lot when he first got in the Cup Series. But the sooner you get them in there, get the wrecks behind them, and then they're good to go from then on. So, man, Scott's got that air blasting in here. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to move this fan. I'm going to turn it off. Okay. I think it's about, and then it's going to come up here in my lap now. I think it's about 60 degrees in here. So, hey, RD4 joining in. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you on here. Said, hi, guys. Not quite sure how I found the chats, but so far, so good. Good deal. Glad you joined in with us. And then Terry Quinn said it was loaded with NASCAR autographs, which is pretty awesome. If you could find that, like you found it, it's really good. All right. So, yeah, Tom said Jamie is out either way. Besides, yes. Yeah, he is. He's kind of a little bit of a sensitive guy. I've had a few dealings with him in the past, but that's another story. Now, Rachel said, you are a chillbilly, David. That's true. Us chillbillies don't like to be cold, though. We don't like to be cold billies. All right, here comes Beer Man back. Hey, what happened to the light? Got dark in here all of a sudden. Terry said, David, do you think it's Terry said that book had a lot of autographs in it. She said, David, do you think it's fair that fans are allowed to vote more than once in the most popular driver? You know what? That's a good question, because I don't like that idea, because what if you get one of those bots to do the whole voting thing? You know, I don't even remember how they did it back in the day when Bill Elliott kept getting it over and over every year.
Younger?
But no, I'm good, man. I still got 1, 2. So I don't know. How did they do the voting for whenever Bill Elliott kept getting it every year? Do you know, Scott?
You had to mail it in.
You had to mail it in.
You know, it was called snail mail. You know, you had to write it. You know,
so, man, your nose is freezing too. God,
come on, man.
Here, I'll give you a hug, and then you can go. All right, here you go.
Come on, man. Go out.
Nana's a sweetie. She's from Florida.
Let's go eat. Come on.
All right, there you go.
Come on.
But her nose is making me even colder. All right, so they used to do it through the snail mail apparently, and but now, yeah, I think they need to. I don't think that's fair, because nowadays you can set up a robot, or they call it bots. It's not really a robot, but it's you can do all kinds of things through the internet that'll automatically vote and stuff. So I think they need to set it up to where you can only use one email per vote would make sense. I mean, of course, somebody could just keep creating emails, but who's going to go through that much trouble? And is it going to make that much of a difference? So, all right. So Tom Robbins said, "What you alls? Do you think what you alls? What Tom? What is you? What you alls? What? Have to spell it out for me, buddy, because I'm not really sure." So Rachel says, "How do you think NASCAR will change in the next 20 years?
20 years
from now. 20 years from now, it'll be electric."
Oh, don't listen to him.
I know.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Come on,
if it goes electric, we'll put your ass out.
I knew that would get him stirred up.
20 years.
No, 20 years.
Well, let's see. How's it changed?
So here's what I think. I think was it 2022 is when the current V8 pushrod Ford, or well, not Ford.
In 20 years, John Hunter will be 42 or 41.
So he'll be ready to retire.
He'll be ready to retire.
So anyway,
and you'll say, "Man, I remember when John Hunter was just getting started. That one night he almost won at Bristol by this much, and he ran out of gas."
The current the current V8 block is expired in 2022, so it can be changed to anything, and most likely it'll be changed to like the new EcoBoost engine that we're using in the GT, the IMSA series. So I mean that's a possibility, and if you look at it like this, Roush Yates Ford's engines has got a leg up on it already. So Ford's got it covered, and the engine that they run in the Mustang, I'm not sure exactly what the name of that series is. I can't remember right off, but I think that's got, man, it got quiet in here now. You turn the fan around the other way. Whew, I hope you got the fire pit. I'm just kidding. I'm not complaining. I'd much rather be warm than cold than I would be warm.
All right,
because you can always put clothes on, but you can only take so much off.
I got a text here.
I got a text too.
I got a text here.
I got some. Huh?
Tell David that NASCAR has preventatives in place so that robots aren't able to vote for the most popular driver.
Hold on. Say what?
Are you a robot?
They have preventatives.
Do you feel like being a robot? Are you one of those people that are pushing vote?
Okay. But who's to say that they don't have a way around that?
I don't know.
I mean, think about it.
I don't know.
If the Russians can come in and do things.
The Russian collusion illusion?
That's fake news.
We ain't talking about, this isn't a political channel. This is NASCAR. This is not
I'm not buying that. I've heard it every day on the radio just about, and I'm tired of hearing about it. So, but anyway, and Kim Jong-un, he could probably do a tap in, and he could get his favorite driver to win the most popular driver. Whoever Rodman tells him to get to win, he can make it happen. So anyway, thank you, Jana. Appreciate you straightening me out on that. But I don't know. I may or may not buy it. But that's good if they do. I mean, then that means NASCAR's being smart about it. But how else can they do the voting? But why can you vote more than once?
They also used the telegraph. No, they did. They also did the telegraph.
Is that right? Uh-oh.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
She's coming after us now.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Jana said she voted for Jana. Oh, she's not logged into the YouTube, so she sent us text, or me a text. I voted for Jana's Scott's wife, and she used to work in racing. Hold on a minute. She said I voted for John Hunter and had to prove I wasn't a robot each time I voted. Okay.
Yep. See?
Well, then that makes sense. That's good. That's good information because I was curious about that
code in there. That wasn't, you're not a robot.
Okay. Well, see, I voted on the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I voted for Robert Yates, but I could vote. I think it was like 40 times a day or something. What is that noise?
Well, I think
after a shooting or what?
Might be the boogeyman. I don't know. You know.
So anyway, I'm gonna have yeah. So what did Jana do
It's Nana.
Oh, Nana's out there knocking on the door. All right, Nana, you're smart. Nana's like, I'm coming in.
I know.
All right. So
on,
Rachel. All right. Tom IMSA. Yeah. Paul Rodriguez. Overhead cam engines. Yeah. I mean, that's what most likely. Whenever in 2022, when the Ford current overhead, not overhead pushrod engine, not Ford, but just the V8 pushrod engine expires or the contract's up or whatever it is, most likely they'll go to some overhead cam engine. All right, so David, how do you work with all the Ford teams? This is from Rachel Rodman. How do the teams work together and be independent as Ford teams? How do you work with all the Ford teams? How do teams work together and be independent as Ford teams? I'm assuming you mean how do we basically build the engines, and I mean we build them all the same. We send them out. Some of the teams have a few differences in some of the things that they want. Maybe as far as they have their cars set up a little bit different on. I can't really say a lot, but maybe some of the different packages. That's probably all I can say about that. But so we have some of our Ford teams ask for just slight differences, and that doesn't make any difference horsepower wise. So they all get the same horsepower. We send them out, and then they put them in the car and they go race them. How's that sound? So David, how do you work with all 14 independent as 4 teams? Okay, Rachel, we need a Brad win. Yeah, the American flag. Even you, beer man, you must love Brad for the flag. Yeah,
yes,
Brad does represent.
Brad's the man.
Holds that flag out outside of his window when he wins.
Yes, kind of what Sterling did that one time when we won in Charlotte, but yeah, he does that. He's got that thing all prepared.
Yeah,
and Brad, he's a fighter. He's a racer. He's been around a long time, and I think that he's going to get one before the year's out for sure. He's got to.
Janice says you were allowed to vote once a day with your email or the allotted voting period set by NASCAR.
There you go.
Okay. And then Rachel said, no, who was it? Terry said vote one at a time by IP address only.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
And David, Terry says, David, do you build Cup engines only or Xfinity 2? I build Xfinity and Cup engines. We do both of those at Roush Yates Engines. We used to do the truck engines, but since they went to the crate engines, we don't do those anymore.
That's right.
Yeah. So the Xfinity engines run 2 to 3 times. Short block. Well, no, the whole engine.
Really?
The whole engines, yeah.
Wow.
Actually. So really we just do, after they run one time, we bring them back, we do spring swaps. We're allowed to change the valve springs. And because they're sealed up. NASCAR's got their little tag on them, their little seal. We can't take the front off, can't take the heads off, any of that stuff.
Wait, I have a text here. Ask David, are there directions to build the engines? Where are the directions to build the engines? And do you have to put gaskets in everywhere?
Oh my gosh, that is not a text. That sounds like something.
No! I got to text it. So you got directions? I mean, where?
Oh, you're gonna ask me next? Do I use a torque wrench?
Sometimes. I don't know.
Sometimes.
Hey,
just gotta make sure I get.
They all go, yeah, beer man. The directions are right here in my head. I'm like, okay, dude, we're all good.
Yeah, it's gotta make sure I put the gasket in the right place and get the bolt tight. Right?
Yeah, if y'all have been sitting back wondering how in the world has David Hamm been building these awesome Ford engines? It's me again.
There you go.
I tell him on Saturday, instead of the beer man driving the pit car in like I go tell him, I say, David, don't forget to put the gaskets in.
You know how many times I've heard that?
Yes.
In the past 20
now we
years,
know why.
25 years.
We know why you're building such awesome engines.
Yeah.
I'm giving him the best advice I can. Don't forget the gaskets, dude. And even some of that little other stuff around the
It's ingrained in my brain. Don't forget the gaskets.
Don't tell anybody, man. I'll let y'all in on a lot of secrets.
All right. Ray Whitson says, see y'all next time.
All right, Ray.
Cool,
Good to see you,
man.
buddy.
See, I guess it's probably getting kind of late. It's really getting kind of long.
We've been on over an hour, so yeah, we're
hour and
past
20 minutes. Okay.
20 minutes.
Yeah. So, it's nice talking to y'all. I'll talk to you later. David, tell Scott, nice job tonight. Yeah, that's probably time to wrap it up, guys. Thank you, Ray. And
it's coming up on an off week, but don't forget the Xfinity's running in the road course, and the trucks are running somewhere else, aren't they?
Yeah, it's off week. I know that, but I don't remember
guys.
where the trucks are running. Yeah, the Cup's off, and then we're going to Darlington.
See you at Bowman Gray.
So
we'll go out and go to a local Saturday night short track race.
Be ready for some. We'll probably be doing some retro pictures. I was thinking that at work we'll probably have some old retro uniforms on and stuff like that. So we'll be taking some pictures, and I'm sure they'll be posting them on the Roush Yates Engines website or Facebook page. So, but anyway, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. So y'all.
You mean I'm not gonna play any music or guitar? When are we gonna start picking the? Did you know he's a banjo player too? Yes, yes.
That's another show.
Yes. Let's see if we can all. Let's see if we can all get everybody to say, "Hey, we want to see David play the banjo." Like a narrow.
That's right. Well, so we need to have our own extra show for the banjo and the guitar lesson, or not lesson.
We do. We'll do it. We'll do a music show. I promise you.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah, I thought tonight was going to be it, but we won't do that. But David actually can sing too.
Yes, I had me. Just kidding. That's my go-to song. That's not.
It is his go-to song.
That is my go-to song. I always, every time somebody says sing, I always sing "Happy Birthday to you."
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Nobody, time out. We got to tell them we're supposed to go do open mic night tomorrow night.
Oh.
And I think, well, when we get off here, we're going to actually try, right? We're going to try to finish up what we were practicing. Don't ooh me, man.
Yeah.
Bro. He's going to do some Jimmy Buffett, and I'm going to play, and it's going to be me and Dave, or better known as Hamm and the Beer Man.
Hamm and Beer Man.
All right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go tomorrow. I got too much work.
Oh, don't be it. Oh, come on. It's supposed to be your buddy's birthday party. Come on now. Dude.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
From
what we've heard, we're all going to go show up. So Hamm and Beer Man, Risto's Tuesday night around 7:30. You know, we'll probably go on around 8. We'll do a couple songs. The dude could sing Jimmy Buffett, okay? So I can play Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
And we all know that, yes, he can sing better than me. Huh?
All right. Well, then y'all come out. Come out from Oklahoma and Indiana and Florida.
Broken Arrow. I hear you, Broken Arrow.
Yep, that's right. Come on out to the Risto.
Is that like a stage name, or is that like a real name of a town?
That's the name of a town.
Really? Broken Arrow?
Broken Arrow.
That's pretty cool.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Here you go.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And be sure to
check us out. Tell your friends. Tell your friends, and we'll tell our friends. I'll tell my friends. I didn't know we were going to be here, but you know what? Oh my goodness, I'm not going to be here next Monday. Gonna be in Florida.
Oh yeah. Might change the date.
Well,
we'll figure it out. All right. Good night, Terry. Good night, RD.
Love you, man.
Good night, everybody. Rachel and Ray and Tom. Everybody else that was listening. Jana. Good night. We'll see you in a few minutes. All right. We'll see y'all. See you, Paul. Tell Kit I said hello.
Right on. Tell your friends.
Goodbye, everybody.
We'll see you next time.